I'm excited to bring this video to you today. I'm very excited about this. This is one of the designer series papers, and this is the inside of the card. And what we're going to work on today is aging things and making things look like old photographs. So I hope you enjoy this. We're going to turn down the camera and get started. Apologies for the delay. This should have gone up on Friday. I was still pretty, in fact, I'm recording this now because I'm still very scratchy and itchy, and I'm still having coughing fits and all those wonderful things that comes with summer colds. So anyway, we're going to make do, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff today. So hang on a minute. I'm going to turn the camera down and we will get going. Okay. Hopefully you can't hear all that noise out there, but we'll see. If it gets too bad, I may have to stop and start again. The first thing I want to show is this incredible designer series paper. This is the photograph, not really photograph, that we use today. And if you follow me, you'll recognize that and that. Maybe that one, I'm not sure. But definitely this down here. So anyway, before I hack on this, I wanted to show you what it looked like. The first time I ever saw one of these, I was kind of put out, you know, because I like having big swaths of paper like this, so you could cut and hack on as you please. But I started to look upon these printed ones like this as a challenge, and the more I looked on it as a challenge, the more excited I got. Some of the really cool things that I wound up doing with them. So having said that, I'm going to take a second and I'm going to chop this off. All right, hang on, give me a minute. Okie dokie. This card is pretty simple. It's often called a book fold card, which means this is going to be glued down, and it opens like this. You can see here's my original here. It's a book fold card. And I chose this for a reason, which I'll go into it in a little bit, because it's just a silly story. It's not, you know, it doesn't pertain to how anything is set up. This is a half a sheet of cardstock. If you are working in metric like I do, you're going to go 10.5 this way centimeters, and then this is the full length, which is 29.7 centimeters. If you are going to do this on Imperial, again, half a sheet, so you've got 5 and I can't talk. Yeah, 5.5 this way by 11 this way. Make sense? Good. All right. Then we're going to score. You're going to put it into your first score is going to be at 17 or 14.85 centimeters. Then your next score is going to be at 17.5 centimeters. Now, if you are working in metric, you're going to put it in here and you're going to go 5.5 inches and then 6.5 inches. So you're going to score, you're going to fold, and then you're going to fold that way, like that. So see, the card base, super, super simple. I was not sure if this was going to, there was no direct translation for this, again, because card shape size is different. So I mocked one up using all the Imperial measurements so I could double check everything and make sure I had this right. So the measurements I just gave you are what you're looking at here. You're going to need, in addition to this, 2 white pieces of paper, one for the outside layering and one for the inside layering. Let's see, I've got the measurements here for those as well. Let's see, I did not do the directions as I normally do on this. Honestly, I did a lot of work on the blog, so I hope you guys will go and check this out, because I did it a little bit differently, and so you get a chance to practice what we're doing. So really, for the first time, the blog and the video really work together. They're not separate entities. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the inside of our card first. So that is this and that is this. So for the inside of the card on the white layer, it's going to be 10 centimeters by 11.5. If you're going for the Imperial, it's going to be 4 by 4 1/4. And that's your white layer. Now you're going to need a layer of gray granite. Excuse me, still have I'm trying not to snort and get out of the way of the mic when I do that. Your gray granite piece is going to be 9.6 centimeters by 11.1. And if you are working in Imperial, it's going to be 3 3/4 by 4. Now, I want you to glue the gray or stamp first, either way. In this case, I find it easier to stamp first. In case you mess up, you can just flip it over and stamp on the other side. But I stamped first, and then I used the little airplane from the set Adventurous Sky. The little tiny airplane is so cute. And for this particular one, now I have already done this, and you'll see why. Where are you? Which one is it? Is it the right one? Yes. For this one, I did it slightly different, and I stamped this image along with the happy birthday instead of you're the best. This other one is a you're the best. Happy birthday. So either way is good. Whenever you decide to stamp on the inside, there you go. I want you to glue the gray onto the white. I've already done this because this requires some explanation. So do this, age it, stick it down, the inside's finished. Got it? Got it. We'll talk about the inside same time we talk about the outside. Now, what I did is I made this have, hope you can see that. Yep. This has texture to it. This is one of my favorite embossing folders. I use this like a crazy person. I use this one all the time. It's this one. It comes in the 3D Basics set. There's 3 embossing folders. This is what I call the linen look and feel one. So I embossed that. Now when I embossed this, I got it out because I wanted to show you. You can't emboss the whole thing like that, but I wanted the whole thing embossed. So basically put it in here like this. So it's hooked on the edge, and then close the folder and run it through, and then do the other side the same way. Make sure, because I did this, make sure when you flip it over, you're going in the same direction, because you don't want to have half of your card that way and half of your card this way. So just a caution. So make sure when you go to put it in the folder the second time. The reason I pulled everything to this folder is you can't really tell where it ends right here. So that's why I did it this way. I did it lengthwise like that. You probably could try doing something like that. I don't know. But I did check. This fits. This will work exactly the same way for you in the Imperial one. So anyway, why did I do this? I didn't have to do this. But I wanted this to be very soft. Because what I have done here is I have this childhood memory. When I was a kid in a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago. Well, no, actually it was this galaxy. It was after I already came here. You had your photographs developed at a photo shop. So photo shops sold film, and they sold cameras, and they developed film for you. It was, I wouldn't say that many years later, well, probably getting close to 10 though, when drugstores finally started developing film. And a lot of things really changed really quickly. Toward the end of the 60s, we started having the Instamatic cameras. So not everyone took pictures. Today we take pictures for granted. It's kind of funny. Oh God, here's my old lady speech, isn't it? No, when I was a child, we didn't have a computer. Which is true, we didn't. But not everybody took photographs all the time. It wasn't that big a thing. That's why scrapbooks got to be really super big, interesting things, and why they always included things that weren't always photographs. They were memories as much as they were anything else. Anyway, when I was a kid, you would get your photographs developed. They would be black and white, like this. And they would be about this size. Much closer to this size than this size, to be honest. And they would come... This would be the photographic paper that was like a white border. And it would actually be, there would be several photos in here. Usually there were 12 on a reel. You were lucky if all 12 came out. You could tell them if the picture didn't come out to not print it. And then this would be, right here, would be stuck down and it would be stapled. So you could leave it like this in its little photograph book. And they were generally, they were either a dark yellow or sometimes a lighter manila color. Where we went, they were always this dark green. I think it was more of a grassy green than this, but it was always a dark green. And what you did is if you wanted the photo out, it was actually perforated here and you could tear the photo out. Like I said, long time ago. I don't know if anybody out there watching this even remembers when photos came that way. Regardless, that's what they did, and that's what I was trying to mock up here, because this truly is a thing from the 50s and 60s, and well, actually even earlier, because you could do your own photography in the 30s and 40s as well. It just was a little more rare. And you generally couldn't take them to the Photoshop. You had to develop them yourself. But that's another story for another time, and I'm really not quite that old. So I wanted this to feel like those old-fashioned little mini albums that you got. That's why I embossed it, so it would be really nice and soft. So what it's done is this card is very, very tactile. I wish it showed up as much as it... I wish we had to feel the vision. Ooh. Kind of like when you're watching a cooking channel and you wish you had smell of vision. Anyway, it's the purpose. You do not have to run this through something to make it softer. You just don't, but it looks good. It's kind of cool, very different. You're not going to see this anywhere else, or I haven't. Probably, as I say that, somebody's out there doing it right now, because no ideas is completely unique. Regardless, this is what I did. This is how we did it. These are simple measurements. This is our card base that we're going to be working for. Now we're going to set this aside. Like I said, we're going to set the inside aside. And we have this little piece on the edge. Now this is the same size for both of them. What I have done is, okay, when I was marking this up, I could not get this hole straight to save my life. I've got one of those, here we go, one of these old-fashioned hole punch things that I know for a fact came from a stationery store in the United States. No art supply. This is just your basic hole punch. I think quite a few people probably have these or something like this. If you were lucky to own one of those, oh God, what is the one I want? Crocodile, which you turn the thing and it has all different kind of holes in it. Which they're very much like a leather hole punch. If you've got one of those work great too. And you can change the sizes of the holes, which is really nice. But this is what I have. This is actually from the States. It's called a 1/4-inch hole punch. Anyway, I wanted this straight. I couldn't get the hole straight, so I drew myself a little picture. I measured how wide I needed this to be. And it's about 1.5 centimeters. Wait a minute, I figured out what this was going to be in... sorry, give me a sec here. I figured out what it's going to be. Yes. So this is 1.5 centimeters wide, which is also 5/8 of an inch. And it is 8 centimeters long. You can see I drew it out, which is 3 1/8. Then I divided this in halfway, which is actually put a line at 7. I went in 1 centimeter on each side, and then I drew little targets for my hole punch. Oops, I lost my thingy here. It went away. No, the thingy went away. It's going to take it a minute to come back, and then I'll give you the rest of the numbers. But I just needed a target. And the other thing I did was I used a lighter ink. Actually, I used this ink, which is what we're going to be using, the Smoky Slate. And I stamped one off to the side so I could draw a line, so I could tell myself what halfway would be. So I sort of looked at that, and when I went to stamp, I could take because these are cling stamps. They're not photopolymer, so you can't see through them, which is the other reason for the halfway line. Because this is a tiny target here. But if you see, it's supposed to look like the old clips. Now, if you want to get really super fancy, you could probably cut this out and cover it in a little bit of aluminum foil, or wait, let me say it like a British, aluminium foil, and make this shiny and then stamp on it. That would look really cool too. I just had spent so much time with this card, and I guess, I don't know, I went a little crazy aging stuff. So make yourself a little thing like this, unless you are really good and you can stamp on a piece of paper and cut it out and punch the holes. Because if you've got one of those alligators, it's a lot easier because you can see where you're punching. This poor thing, you can get in there, and no matter how hard you try, it's really hard to see where that hole is going to go. So I even tried taking the back off, and it didn't work. So try this. I've got this on the website. I've got it drawn out for you. So if you don't remember this, or you don't want to pause the video, you can see what I've done. So I drew my line. I went in. I did it on the gray paper. I did it on white so you could see. The gray actually erased a little bit better as well. And you can see my little holes line up in there like that. And see, nothing is perfect. So my holes actually came out a little bit different. But I just found it easier to do that. But if you are good, you can take a 1.5 centimeter by 8 centimeter strip and cut everything straight. Then you go. You already have my undying admiration. All right, so enough said. Stamp. I didn't want to stamp in black. I thought it was a bit harsh. Same here. Didn't stamp with black on this one either. I used the basic gray, which I thought gave it a little less to age, so to speak. So this is our piece. We will attach that later. Let's set that off to the side. All right, I'm trying to get my numbers to come back up here. I'm sorry, I'm sort of fumbling around a bit. I hate it when it just bumps out like that. Got my computer up here. Too much talking, not enough scrolling. Okay, make sure I got these right. Yes, 5/8 of an inch by 3 1/8. And actually, no, I don't think I did give you. Shame on me, I didn't go down and write that out. Okay, well, a centimeter is, this is because it's 1 centimeter in. So a centimeter and an inch is, yep, that's 3/8 of an inch. So you go in as much as you go over. So that line is the same as there. So I've actually sort of drawn a little square on each end. I didn't realize that until just now. Oh, interesting. All right, so hopefully that is clear as mud, and you're going to run out and do that immediately. But like I said, you can always go, if you may be watching this from the blog post, or you may be watching it on YouTube, because I will put this one on my Facebook page, but it will be released the same time I release the YouTube one. Okay, so that is this piece. Probably the most complicated part. I probably made it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. Now for the front piece, we are going to need, where are you? 9.5 centimeters by 11. So it's slightly different sized. So if you're going with Imperial, you've got 4 inches by 4 inches this way, 3 3/4 by this way. Now, your designer series paper. Remember I showed it to you at the beginning. I have already cut it and mounted it. I cut a lot of paper off of here, as you can see. the width I cut off just a tiny bit from the width, or actually with the P, yeah, width, no, I guess the length from the length. So just a tiny hair from the length, but I cut quite a whack so I could center this up. Now, I gave you these numbers. It's going to be a little bit different if you're working in Imperial, which is the other reason I mocked this up, because this does not fit on here. It's too big. So I had to change the sizes all the way around when you do your photograph, because hopefully you'll try this again. You'll use other ones of these printed papers and give this a go to make this. In fact, I really hope you do. I would love for you to come in and post some pictures of this so I can see it. But this is too big. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make your photo when you cut your photo out in the Imperial. This is going to be 3 3/4, 3 1/2 by 3 3/4, and just sort of, you can do that any way you want. You can just keep shaving it until you get to the right bit. I did work all the way from the edge on this one, but you may actually even wind up taking, your photo is going to come into about that much more. So that'll give you some ideas when you do your own. Now, important on both of these pieces, let me get rid of this, we don't need that. These are glued, and I don't normally glue because you have glue shadows. Both of these are glued down. You want that glue to run right up to the edge, even if you make some glue spooge, because we're not actually trying to create a mat here so much as what we're creating is the look of an old photo. To that end, I will tell you, I'm not a perfect gluer, so there is glue edges all over this. So before I get started, and with this one I've already done it, just run your glue remover along the edge. Any stickies roll off of there. It should be such a small amount, you could probably even do it, I could even do it with my finger. See, you get them off of there. Just run your fingers over it, make sure there's none on there. Because I'll show you in a minute why this is so important, but you really have got to get that glued all the way down and around. Because I tried doing this in other ways. I tried taping this down and aging and then leaving the edges free. Just could not achieve the same effect. If we're going to achieve this effect, you pretty much have to do it this way. And I realize I'm wasting a bit of, hope I'm not wasting too much of your time doing it this way. I will be speeding up the next part, which is another reason this is not a live, it's a semi-live, or as live as I can manage with this head cold. Okay, make sure, because it's very important, no glue, because we're going to be using our blending brush, and I will tell you of my experience, if you get glue, especially, see how it makes these little roundy things here? If you get these stuck in that blending brush, you are going to say words that would make your mama wash her mouth out. And you will mean every one of them, because it doesn't come out easily. In fact, the only way I got the one clean was I had to use alcohol. It did not mess up the brush. In fact, you can see the brush looks all right. It's got some funky coloring to it, but just trust me on this. Take a few minutes, make sure that edge is clean, 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 whistle clean. Now, as I said in the blog I tell you to do this piece first. You're going to need to get a feel for how the ink, each ink blends differently. I don't know why that is. I could probably hazard a guess. I just know that it does, just having worked with all of these inks a lot, that each one does differently. So give yourself the time to learn the ink you are using. This ink, this gray that we're using, this is Smoky Slate, it seems to be oilier than the other inks, if that makes sense. I don't know if they did it to get this gray color, As you see, I'm going to actually get out my blending sheet and show you when we're going to blend on it too. I don't know if you can tell, but you see how that has a greenish look to it? There's a lot of sort of green color to this, and I don't know, maybe that's why it's oily? I don't know. But let's use the other side, because I have gotten glue on that. And we're going to start blending. Now, when you age something, and we're not just getting it dirty, we're actually trying to age this. I hope you can tell the difference. It's dramatic in person, not so much on the camera. Just take my word for it. We start like that. Oh, there you go. See how we got a bit of, I don't know why this pad does that. I've got one other that does that, and it's one of my greens. So I suspect it might have something to do with green. I don't know. Can't tell you. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do your basic blending. So you can get it off of here if you want. I find since this one's oily, I'll pat here and then I pat on here. Take it to your paper first. Oops, I'm trying to get in the middle here, guys, so you can see what I'm doing. On your paper first, start swirling and swirl to the ends. Easy, 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 easy. All right, let's go. We're going to do corners first. Let's go. Do that so you're not looking at my hands. Blend, 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 blend. Now, I don't want you to panic because at this point, and I highly recommend this Monkey Slate. If you try to go with the dark, with the basic gray, or even the Pebbled Path. Pebbled Path is when you blend out like this, you can tell it's more mauve-y looking. All right, so we've done our corners, and now we're going to do something horrific. We're going to bounce on it. So I want you to beat your card on the edges like this. So you take your nail or something. I do not recommend using a pair of scissors for this. I recommend using a fingernail, or if you need to use a tool, something like the back of something like this. Although fingernails work great, even little short ones. I want you to run it on the edge. So what you're trying to do is you're not trying to tear it so much. I hope you can see that. Let's see if I can. Is we're trying to give it some, see that? Just sort of making it. It's the object of the game here, and when you're aging anything, is you want to think about what made the piece age. So in this sense, I wanted to go with perhaps this picture was stuck above somebody's toolbox. Stuck on a pegboard. It's just stuck somewhere so they could see it all the time. Now we're going to do some more of this. You've already got some stuff on your brush. So now where we have messed it up, you're just going to go back across that and hit it. We want to get that bright white, not so bright anymore. You don't need a lot of ink for this. Let's see, I've got some glue on that. Oh, that's all right. This actually turned out well. Now you get the idea for this. Now I say in the blog, and I'll say this to you now, start with this piece here. You did all the same thing. We've pounced on the edges. We see, didn't get that glued down enough. Before this is finished, I need to go back and get that glued down better. Because it's not supposed to come apart. It's not a matting. It should be, I want it to look like it's part of the actual picture. Now, see, I didn't do that evenly. Now, this is the part that absolutely killed me, but I think it makes a big difference. Bent it. I had this imagination, in my imagination, this was, sitting propped behind some tools in a dirty garage. Memory of a better time, maybe a memory of a grandfather. But photographs often did get bent. And this is another reason for gluing it to the paper. See that wonderful sort of it's almost like it's sticking up there. But I really want you to bend that hard. Then I want you to take the tool of mass destruction. And I want you to do that. So it looks kind of white. Don't need much. See how it kind of... Now we're going to do a little more ink. Like I said, think about while you're doing this, how this got dirty. So in my mind, this was stuck onto something like that so it could be seen. Or I should say maybe like that. How would you do it? Yeah, like that, sort of stuck on the wall. Since I already am working dirty here, let's just take that dirty on in a little bit to the photograph. There we go. And now we have a black and white photo that's been hanging around for a while. And this is how you age something. Much different from our original. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing with the cardstock. You're going to go around the edges. Start at the corners. The corners are always going to be a little bit darker. And hit those edges. Same here. Like that. See, because we're not, a lot of times when you're blending with inks and things, the object of the game is to darken the edges, so what's lighter inside appears brighter. Not necessarily what we're doing on this. Now this is a great thing to do with ephemera, and I will be doing another video as soon as I make another order. Let's pay for the last one. Had a great time with the last one. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks and things to do with items that have already been shaped. But this is one of them. When you use a gray ink, particularly this really beautiful smoky slate, this takes a black and white photograph and makes it look older. So I said I chose this color. I did a lot of checking. And, oh, you find yourself doing that, by the way. You say, oh, I think I want a little more here. At some point, you are going to have to tell yourself, stop, don't do that. Now, there we go. Since I have to glue this, I'm not going to glue this down in front of you. I need to glue that and make sure I can fix it. But you just set this on the top. The inside is lined up with your 5mm or 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. That's why it's cut to this. The sizes I gave you will be exactly the same for your imperial. And the front, you're going to pop it on top at a jaunty angle. This is the size, so it's cut. Now, I'm going to have to trim this one up a bit, but I wanted to show you. So I probably will take some of the bottom off of that one. But anyway, you know what I've done already, and I'll fix this one up to do for later. Do want to show you the inside, though. I took some. This is the baker's twine. On the original one, I used the linen thread, which I really liked, but I realized I had a lot of this baker's twine. This is the Baker's Twine Essentials pack, so it's got this gray color. This also works well with the In Color Pebble Path, but it's black-white, which you can never get enough of. This is a vanilla color. It's quite yellowy, so it works quite well with daffodil. The brighter yellow, the lemon lime, not lemon lime twist, lemon lolly. This is a little dull for that. It won't look quite as good. You'll need something a little more yellow. However, if you take this and you start with this and you run it through the Lemon Lolly ink, you will come up with a brighter bit. Now this is just a really good basic all-around beige. I've used this for a lot. This is good with pecan pie. This actually works quite well with copper clay. It has enough of the reddish color to it. Although I have copper clay twine self, but this is a really good essentials pack. So I like to use things and show you guys things that, you know, if you don't have this huge crafting budget and you go out and buy one of everything, I can give you some ideas of cool things to buy that will really stand you well. So the linen thread and this Baker's Twine 3-pack is, I consider them essentials. Anyway, to do this, you have two choices to do this. You can wrap this all the way around, which I have seen, and it looks quite good. I'm not that patient. I'm so sorry. I found that incredibly fiddly, so I didn't do it that way. I did it this way. Start by threading this through here. Oops. You want this to show. So thread it through the back and out the front like that. Give yourself quite a long throw on it, because you can tie a knot or a bow or however, whatever your preference is. But give yourself a pretty good piece sticking out. And then I'm measuring here in case you're wondering. Bring it over, thread it through this side. Now let's do it this way first. I'm going to open it up. Now you've got the thread through, right? Let's get this. Give yourself something sticky here. You can use glue and let it get tacky. This is quicker. So you're going to hold this like this for the amount you want hanging out the top, which that looks about right. Pull this around. This is just loosey-goosey right now. And we're going to stick this down into that tape. So that's going to hold it for us like this. And then I'm going to put this piece. Ooh, I might have gone too much. We shall see. Yeah, that's the nice thing with this, is if you did get too much, you can unstick it from the tape. It doesn't really tear it up or anything. This is just twine. All right. Did I do that wrong? Oh, silly girl. Went the wrong way. Down inside. So I usually like to do this stuff before you guys watch, because I'm always fumbly. And here, combination of dry hands and fumble fingers. Now, so you can pull this tight. Might have done that too much. Yeah, a little bit, I think. I don't quite have enough to tie. May undo this a bit. See, pops right back up. I want more this way. Oh, come back up. That looks much better. Okay. Now pull it not real tight, because you don't want to mess yourself up. And stick it down here like that. And now it's stuck down. You could do this part. What I did, centered this around, pull the tail. Only one of the tails is going to tighten it at this point because it's glued down in the back. So I fed this up through here because I kind of wanted the the knot, the bow knot thing on the top. So I threaded it through. You're gonna make me look good, don't you? Silver solution to all thread. Lick it, it'll be better. Just don't tell anybody that you've licked it. All right. Flip over, tighten. Move this down to where it goes. Why are you doing this? No, that is just a basic knot here. If I can even get it to do that much. Ta-da! Tight. No, actually it wants to go that way. And I did just make a basic square knot, so well, I tried to make a basic square knot. How about that? Okay, there we go. And now that is tied onto itself and it's not going anywhere. And you can open it back up. Now I'm going to separate these a little bit. I think it will look nicer. It's got a nice twist to it. That's good. Like that. Now, one of two things you can do. You can take your glue at this point, or you can take your tape. I'm going to take tape because I think it's just a bit faster for what we're doing here. I'm going to go here, and we're going to go here. Oh, that's sticky. And you're going to carefully fold that in half. And now, that thread is there. It is not going anywhere. And then you can tie a bow. You can tie a knot, you can tie a tassel onto it. I don't know, I kind of thought a couple of beads might look sort of cool here. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna trim this down so it goes to the top like this one. And that is how you age a card. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you'll give it a try. This color, this works really well with black or grayscale printed papers. You can do this with anything, but you'll come across a lot of these sort of photographic prints, and that's how it works the best using gray. But like I said, we'll do another one in the future. It will look. I didn't screw that up right there. Do it. Have fun. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have enjoyed the video. It was a little fumbly, a little bit different today than what I usually do. I'm still feeling like I was run over by a truck, but that's regardless. You know, up and on, and let's go forward. I hope everyone has a happy crafty day. And if you like this video, please give me a heart or a thumbs up wherever you happen to be seeing it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I do hope you'll subscribe for more fumbly crafting. See you later. Thanks, guys.